Okay, so this is the student view. When you log in, it's the same login area, but it's a different, it takes you to a different homepage. So here are the instructions for the kids to read. It also talks about points down here. Again, in grade 9, I assume they can read. Well, if they do, that's up to them, but those are the instructions there. So the mine will produce 1, 2, and 4. If you update it, you can update businesses as well as power them, as well as if they use education, it increases what's produced per business. The points, you can lose points as well. Like if your child or spouse dies, you lose 200 points, and it explains that down here. If you're starving or if you live on the street, you lose 100 points for each of those. When you go to questions, you just click that. For each one, you have to answer 100 questions per business or apartment or house. So just to power it, you have to answer 100 questions. Now, once you understand the questions, because the definition of constitution is, and the kids will start to memorize these, it shouldn't take them long at all, but at the very first time it takes them about a week to get through it. So they just click, when they click whatever answer they have, they click the business that they'd use or practice. If they just want to practice answering questions, they just use practice. However, after 30 incorrect questions in a 24-hour period, the questions will shut down and they can't answer that. That's just to prevent, so that people don't sit there and just guess for 5,000 questions and hopefully they get it right. If they're just going to guess, they're probably going to get shut out, which means their business is not going to get powered, which means that nothing's produced, or the house, it doesn't count if you live in an unpowered house because you're still homeless, you're just squatting. If you go to inventory, you can see your inventory and you can see the class inventory. So if you're hungry, you can see that Hulda down here has 5 food. So you can go talk to her with food. You can send her a message and say, hey, can I give you the food? Tanner has 6 education, so you can go and talk to him about that. If you go to country info, you can see the top 10 list, which gives you points, your points, as well as overall country points, as well as everybody's points in the class. Now, the last week, things kind of got sideways, which is why there's so many low points here. If you go to information as well, you can see who owns what business and if it's powered or not. If it's not powered, it says no. If it is powered, it says yes. So therefore, the Prime Minister can watch that and make sure that things are powered when they're supposed to be powered. The Prime Minister also has a button that nobody else will has that says Prime Minister, that allows them to set the tax rate, view employees, view occupants, as well as transfer money from them or take land from the First Nations. If you want to take land from the First Nations, it costs $20,000, loss of 50 happiness per person every time you take it, but you can create a school, a farm, a factory, or entertainment. So that's how the government operated back then, but it gives you this opportunity to talk about First Nations and land rights and who has them, so should we pay for them and why we should pay for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to businesses, this is where the students get to edit their businesses and manage their businesses. So if you want to fire John, you just click fire. If you want to hire him, you just click the hire button. The employees has not answered any questions, and it is not as powered. It's questions to power. You haven't answered any questions, but it has been upgraded. So if you have, I think it's 2 oil and 2 steel, you can upgrade your business, which now doubles what you produce every time. If you go to life, you can see where you work or where you have a place of residence. If you start to get in a fight with your boss and he won't fire you, you can always quit, as well as the place of residence. You can always move out of where you live. They can evict you as well. Voting, this is where people vote. You can only vote for people in your country, not your class, because just because I'm an American or I'm a citizen of the world does not mean I can vote in Zimbabwe's election. The family, this is where you can gain a spouse or gain a child. You need to feed that child every turn, and if you don't, it costs quite a lot. This is also where you educate yourself. If you want to educate yourself, you have to do it through the life area, but you can educate your child as well as use luxury items. Luxury items give you 10 points for every luxury item that you use. The money is where you can invest in stocks for countries. I'm not going to explain the stock market because that's the fun of the stock market. It goes up or down. If you, not a lot of people truly know the stock market, and those that do are named Warren Buffett. So you can play the lotto for $5, a chance to win $1 million. The winning lotto was 23. It was a lot, and your number was this. The numbers are, you have a 1 in 57 million chance in winning the lottery, but it's just to explain to the players that, or to the students that playing the lottery is not a good way to get money. You can also choose in savings investing. How much money would you like to put into savings? It's free to take out of savings, tax free. Costs $25 to take your money out of TFSA, but there's no taxes taken off. And RRSPs give you 12%. However, it costs $100 to take your money out of, I should rename that to RRSPs, and you will be taxed when the money is taken out. So not only do you have to pay more, but you get taxed on that money, which is how a real RRSP works, where tax-free savings is often you get less because you're investing it at a lower rate, but it costs $25 to take the money out instead of it's free. So with the savings at 1%, it's free. 5% is $25. 12% is $100. If they're going to put it in and withdraw it and put it in and withdraw it and put it in and withdraw it, the savings and interest is compounded every advance period. So every time you advance, that's when your savings is updated. If you go to trade messages, this is where you can see the trade messages. So to get rid of it, points update, you can accept it, and it will pop into, you've accepted this trade, and then when you go back to inbox, there's only 3 now. So if you want to create a trade, you have to choose the recipient, as well as you have to select a good. If you just select good and then you put $1 to Alex and you say, hi, you don't have to put a message, but you for fun, and then you can send that item and that money will be sent from that item. So you can check what you've deleted when we go all the way down. This was the points update that we just deleted here. You earned this dollars this year, you have this much. As well as you can check your sent mail as well. So this is where you can see when people start to disagree. When you're sending money to Tanaka for $800, you've just sent that person money. There's no, unless there's a written agreement, there's no guarantee. I can give my friends money. I don't need anything back. That's not a contract. They need a contract to make it legit. Then they can change their password right here. If they forget their password, they have to come and see you. I hope that answers a lot of the questions. Thanks.